Good morning and God bless you. Pastor W. Lonnie Herndon here. Let's get ready for our morning meditational word. Listen to one of the ministers of the gospel give you a word that is going to impact your day to day. God bless you and help me continue to praise the Lord.
Good morning. Good morning, Compassion. Welcome to Compassion's morning meditation. My name is Pastor Richie, and I will be reading into your hearing Romans chapter 10, verse 10. And it reads, "For it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God, and it is by openly declaring your faith that you are saved." Here we have Paul writing a letter to Israel. And Paul is writing this letter because he has a heart-filled desire for Israel to be saved by their faith. Israel's in a place where they think that by fulfilling the law, it will get them closer to God. However, Paul is explaining to them before verse 10 that Jesus Christ covered the law on Calvary's cross, and all they had to do was believe. Paul is pretty much asking them, what do they believe? So I came here this morning to ask you, what do you believe? Not only what do you believe, but what will you confess or declare out of your mouth? So this morning, as a thought, I want to use for a title a phrase that was coined by a famous comedian by the name of Kevin Hart. And I just want you to say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Paul says in first part of Romans chapter 10, it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God. There's a direct correlation between what we think in our minds and what we place in our hearts. The Bible declares in Proverbs 23:7, "For as a man thinketh, so is he." So what happens at this point is whatever you think becomes rooted in your heart. So my first point is very simple, and it comes from Colossians 3:2. Think on things of heaven and not of this earth. Point number one is, what's on your mind? Paul is challenging Israel in chapter 10 because he wants them to be saved. This morning, to all who are watching, I want you to be saved. Paul is challenging them about their thinking process. It is the blessing, to have a job and a career, but are you consumed with the blessing of the job and the career, or are you consumed with the frustrations of the job? It's a blessing that your child came home last night, but are you consumed with the blessing of your child coming home, or are you frustrated by their disobedience? Are you consumed with the grace and mercy of Christ that follows you day in and day out, or is it the trouble of this world? I stopped by to ask somebody today, what's on your mind? My second point is, what's on your heart? I know this question may seem very simple, but when you think about what's on your heart, I want you to consider the four types of soil referred to in Luke 8:4 through 15. The blind heart keeps us from grasping. The stony heart, no roots develop. The rebellious heart is partially committed to Christ and committed to the world. And then we have the fertile heart, which is fully dedicated to Jesus Christ. I know we all believe that the soil of our heart is always in fertile position. But can I suggest, just like in nature, the soil is often reflective of the season we are in. I'll say that one more time. The soil is often reflective of what season we are in. That's a deeper message for another day. But think on what condition your heart is in. Paul is trying to drive home the understanding that in order for Israel to be saved, they have to believe in their hearts, which makes them right with God. And by declaring with your mouth your faith, which you believe, you are saved. Luke 6:45 states that good people say good things, bad people say bad things. But overall, what comes out of a man's mouth is what his heart is full of. And I just want to say my third point, which is, so what you saying? Again, to openly declare your faith, what you believe, you are saved. Basic in theory, but sometimes difficult to execute because of what we think and what's on our heart. What I'm saying to you is, this declaration of your faith should take place at all times. When the sun is shining or the clouds roll in, you should declare your faith. When you're smiling or you're smiling just so that you won't cry, you should be declaring your faith. When you're on your mountaintop or in your valley experience, you should be declaring your faith. The Bible declares that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord. So today may be your day of knee bowing and tongue confessing that Jesus is Lord so that you could be saved. All you got to do is believe in your heart, think on it, and say it with your chest. Thank you for tuning in to Compassion's Morning Meditation. We are here every day at 7 o'clock a.m. Be blessed.